We are back with a digital trend that some experts say could change the way humans connect. We're talking about AI companions. Essentially, this is a customizable chatbot where a user can build it to look, talk, act, all like a real person. People use them for a range of reasons, like friendship, advice, therapy, even in some cases, romantic relationships.
Recent research shows AI companion apps have surged 700% since 2022. Some psychology experts say these digital companions can help meet a person's need for social connection, but they also warn that they're relying on such technology too much. Well, that could actually make people feel more isolated.
Let's bring in Dr. Jennifer Hartstein for more on this. She is a child, adolescent, and family psychologist. Dr. Hartstein, always great to have you with us. Good morning. So there are actually now more than 300 apps that make these AI companions. Those are available worldwide. Let's just start broadly. From a mental health perspective, what are the risks here in starting to essentially form a relationship, no matter the nature of the relationship, with an AI companion?
So there are definitely risks, and it's important we think about them, right? It can increase our isolation. It can cause us to have unrealistic expectations of what real life relationships could be. And it could cause something called de-skilling, where the life skills we need in general go down because we're relying on AI to help us get through our day to day.
It's interesting, last night, dinner at Friends, I have not used any of these, but it was literally the topic of conversation we were talking about is this exact thing. And I know, some adults say they've had positive experience with these companions, using them to maybe walk through grief, have talked about difficult issues. Some, though, have actually married their digital partners. I would argue that's certainly a step too far. But what are the benefits to having an AI companion?
I think, Joe, you highlight the really important part that not all social media things are bad. Not all AI is bad, right? So there are benefits that balance out the risks. And some of that are things like it's a rehearsal space. If I'm not sure how to have that conversation, maybe my AI companion can help me with that. Maybe it helps me figure out how to be more effective socially with other people. And we have a loneliness epidemic in this country. So we know that AI companions can help combat that. We just don't want it to replace in real life interactions.
Yeah, which marrying one certainly would, right?
I would say yes, but there are some people that have a real life partner and then marry their AI companions to fill the gaps that their real life partner does not have. So it brings up a lot more conversation than we probably even have time for this night.
Let's talk, though, also how this could be impacting younger people, because this recent report, it found actually a majority of teens have tried an AI companion. I was surprised to hear a majority have, and roughly a third say conversations with this companion, with essentially like a digital friend, is just as satisfying, if not more satisfying, than talking with real life friends, which just seems like it could pose a mental health risk here. How can it impact maybe a teen as they're still younger, still kind of figuring themselves in the world out differently than it might impact adults?
It's a really important distinction, Savannah. And I think the way we have to think about it is that it can create some developmental interference, right? So where you have burgeoning brains that are developing and understanding how to be in the world, and AI companions are kind of designed to feed back to you what you want to hear. So for kids who are at greater risk for suicide and self-harm, we know there have been some moments where AI companions have kind of led them down the path to feed back information that might have influenced those choices. It doesn't teach those social skills we need, the way to read other people effectively. So developmentally, it can really be a problem that adults, we hope, can kind of sift through a little bit more effectively. And that's the big part. We want kids to learn how to be emotionally connected to others. Computers don't provide the same feedback.
I want to ask you about, we have a recent NBC News survey, and more than half of registered voters, because that's who we like to survey, the voters, they say they believe the risks of AI outweigh the benefits. I guess that's not surprising. Anytime we're dealing with something new technology, we'll probably look back at that years from now and laugh at it. But why do you think right now there is such a gap between the growing popularity of AI companions and just the overall use of AI and people still not trusting the technology?
Well, I think it goes to this idea, A, that we don't know it. So the unknown's scary and we haven't embraced it and joined in. And it's still this kind of unfettered field. What are the regulations? How do we know it's not going to cause more harm than good? And because it's constantly learning, what does that mean? And I think that part of it is really scary for everybody. And since we don't really understand it, we're not sure how to lean in and use it more effectively. So the AI companion is different than AI to do research or to find a recipe. And those lines, crossing makes it a little harder to know how to navigate.
Some founders of these AI companion apps, they say this is the future of relationships. And then others are sort of pointing to this should just be a helpful tool, but not a replacement for human connection. But I mean, just the fact that the technology exists means that some people are using it in that way. What concerns you the most about that and where this technology could go?
I think we are going to then be lonelier and lonelier, and people would argue, but no, I have my companion, and that's going to make me feel connected. But we are going to be less kind of in touch with people, right? AI companions, you can't touch them. We need physical touch that creates oxytocin, that helps us boost mood. So without having that physical connection to people, what are we doing? We're going to probably have less children if people are only in relationships with artificial intelligence, which will then make the population be different, right? So there's all of these changes, but emotionally, mentally, physically, we need other people to be close to us. And if we're only engaging with AI, we lose all of that.
Dr. Jen Hartstein, important conversation, interesting one for sure. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Some other